Hello everyone, welcome to StudyIQ IS English channel. My name is Shubham Sagar. Today we have to do Hindu analysis of 13th June 2025. If you can see me, if you can hear me, you can write AV, and if you face any issues in the sound quality, video quality, again, you can write it in the comment section. Cool. So let's not waste any time. Let's start the discussion of today. By the way, Israel has attacked Iran. Why Israel has attacked Iran? What is the root cause behind it? You will understand it here, and I think I will take a separate lecture for that today also. I think I will be going live separately at 11:30 today to talk about that scenario. Israel attack on Iran. So you will understand this. We have covered an article linked to this Israel attack on Iran. But before we do that, the biggest, the news of yesterday or today morning, you can say, is this. Page number 1. Like the biggest news is obviously the plane, the crash thing which happened, and our condolences to all the people and to the family. It's very easy to say, all these things from StudyIQ. We are offering our condolences, but that shows how life is so fickle and we should not be taking ourselves too seriously. So God bless all those families. Let's start the discussion and we'll talk about the root causes of the air attack as well. We don't know the exact cause, but yes, the people, the experts, they are talking about the root causes and everything. Sanjana Vana, exactly Sanjana, the plane crash thing. We'll talk about that also later on. So that was the saddest issue of yesterday's. So the page number 1, this isn't like from UPSC perspective. Global gender gap report has been published. India is topping from the bottom, and again, if you people have followed global gender gap report, you know what I mean. So what is this global gender gap report? They talk about parity between men and women. Good morning, champ. Oh my god, thank you, Santosh. So good morning to you also, Santosh. So what we are trying to discuss here is India's rank now is 131 out of 148 countries. Last year it was 129 out of 146 countries. So you may feel like, oh my god, India's rank has deteriorated, but the number of countries which they are, the parameter has also increased from 146 to 148. So this is also which you have to keep in consideration. Our very good neighbor Pakistan is topping from the bottom, exactly from the bottom. They are at 148th rank. So in South Asia, Bangladesh has performed the best. We'll talk about Bangladesh separately as well. There is an editorial on Bangladesh, whether Bangladesh is moving towards authoritarianism or not. So there is a talk, we'll have a discussion on that. So India's rank 131 out of 148 countries. And then we'll have to do a comparative analysis. UPSC has already asked a PYQ on this global gender gap report published by World Economic Forum. Just, remember who publishes it, what is India's current rank. Let's say you'll be giving your UPSC in 2026 also. So that year also you have to remember 2026 Global Gender Gap Report, India's rank, and compared to 2025. So all these things are important. Good morning, Priya. So India's rank was last year 129. Today, this year 131. Number of countries earlier, last year 146, this year 148. India is, pay attention to the words. Sometimes what happens, we don't read the words minutely. When you read this line, sometimes people read it in such a fast manner, they feel like India is the lowest ranked country. No, we are not saying lowest ranked country. We are saying among the lowest ranked country in South Asia. We'll see different countries of South Asia and we'll compare India's rank with other countries. We are performing way better than Pakistan. Pakistan is exactly at the last. At current rate, see, in the previous lectures also, we have talked about subordination of women concept. Upinder Singh ma'am, condolences to the family. Exactly, Kartika. Condolences to the family. And just give your best every day. And just remember, we are a very tiny particle in this whole universe. So many things are going on at the same time. Don't take yourself too seriously, as we have discussed earlier. So now we are talking about subordination of women concept as stated by Upinder Singh ma'am in her book Ancient and Early Medieval India. That subordination of women is a known feature of almost all historical societies of the world. The point is degree of subordination of women. Global Gender Gap Report is extending this whole thing, that if we continue the way we are doing, we talk about equal pay for equal work in our DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy. So they are saying that the world will still require 123 years when men and women will be treated equally. Currently, subordination of women is still going on. Okay, sir, top performing countries, Iceland, they always perform like they are the one continuous performer. They're like Australia and India when it comes to cricket. Cool. Followed by, remember the top 3, Iceland, Finland, Norway. Norway is a part like Norway, Denmark, all these countries when you're talking about. Sweden, they are part of, then like again Denmark I stated, Scandinavian and Nordic countries. I keep on giving questions to you people so that you revise stuff also. Good morning, Sneha. So again, there is a question for you. If you know it, you can revise it. You can post it in the comment section later on also. What is the basic difference between Scandinavian country and Nordic country? South Asia region, Bangladesh is the top performer. This is actually a irony right now. They are at 24 rank. See, India is at 131, Bangladesh is at 24. You may feel like, why? Because one of the parameters of Global Gender Gap Report is political empowerment. And if you talk about, Awami League, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, Khalida Zia, Sheikh Hasina. So you see so many women, parliamentarians, ministers in Bangladesh, that has contributed a lot to better performance of Bangladesh. On the other hand, India is showing a decline when it comes to women MPs, women ministers, and that's why our rank has declined. Cool. So see, other South Asian countries and their rank, we are performing worse than Bhutan, worse than Bangladesh, worse than Nepal, worse than Sri Lanka, but better than Maldives, much better than Pakistan, which is at the last. Cool. And then sub-index performance, you can read this thing. In economic participation, we are doing better than the last year. Educational attainment, we are doing better. Now, there are some terms, there are some keywords which you have to keep in mind. Good morning, Shashikala, Mayagiri, and Sneha and everyone. So, tertiary education. So these words are important. Even in health education, GS Mains Paper 2, when you read about different terms, primary health, secondary health, tertiary health, you should know the meaning of these terms. And don't just jibber jabber it. What do I mean? I will tell you. So primary health means what? Let's say your nose, ghee started coming out from your nose, right? So you are going to a hospital, any local hospital, and they're like, oh my God, so much ghee is coming out from your nose. We cannot deal with you. We are transferring you to, or we are telling you, you will go to Kalyani AIMS in West Bengal. So they have transferred it. So where you have gone for the first time, that is your primary setup, primary healthcare. Then they have referred you to, let's say, Kalyani AIMS. That is your secondary healthcare. Let's say Kalyani AIMS is saying that, oh my God, so much ghee from your nose. We are transferring you to AIMS Delhi. Then AIMS Delhi becomes your tertiary healthcare. So this is the basic meaning, primary, secondary and tertiary healthcare. When it comes to tertiary education, this graduation which you are doing, that is tertiary education. Remember these words, they are actually important. Cool. Now, political empowerment, this is what we were discussing. Why Bangladesh is performing much better than us? Good morning, GK Edit. Because their representation when it comes to women in parliament, women in ministerial post, Khalida Zia, Sheikh Hasina and all those, Awami League, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, etc. So, because they have more representation, their rank is much better. India's position is deteriorating when it comes to women MPs and when it comes to ministers who are women. And you can see the data here. Cool. So we need to do a lot in political empowerment, and that is what this Global Gender Gap Report published by World Economic Forum is stating. Now this is a question based on whatever you have read up until now, and again this is a PYQ. UPSC has asked a similar PYQ, I think exact PYQ earlier. So what is the answer of this particular question? Which of the following gives the Global Gender Gap Index ranking to the countries of the world? So Priya has given the answer. The answer is A, World Economic Forum, Global Gender Gap Index. Cool, sir. Now let's talk about second issue of the day. Priya, Sneha, both of you have given the answer. Cool. Awesome. Now, if we talk about the second issue of the day, that is page 10, editorial, urbanization and the challenge of ideal transit solutions. Now, urbanization again is explicitly in your GS Mains Paper 1. So you have to read about urbanization. And urbanization keeps on coming even in history. First urbanization, Harappan period. Second urbanization, 6th century BC. You read about it. Most of the people don't know the most important prerequisite for urbanization is surplus production. Until or unless you don't have food in your stomach, you cannot think about doing non-agricultural activity. Currently, we are doing non-agricultural activity, and we are able to do it because the farming community, they have produced enough surplus for us. If we had not enough surplus and if we did not have enough food in our stomach, we would have gone back to our villages and done the agricultural activity. Please understand this. The most important prerequisite for urbanization is surplus production, and I can tell you the whole story about how urban areas are formed. We can do that later on. Just for now, just remember, most important prerequisite for urbanization is surplus production. Cool. Now if you talk about this particular article, editorial rather, so here they are talking about urbanization, how by 2060s almost 60% of India's population will live in urban areas, and now they are focusing on the transportation infrastructure. Here the main core issue with this editorial is transportation infrastructure and what government should do. And they are talking about metros, that we have metros, government is focusing on metros, but there are many metros which are not able to get their profit. They are running in loss mode. Then they have offered some alternative transportation infrastructure like tram. Many people may not know what is tram and how it is profitable. We'll see it. Cool, sir. So see this, urbanization and economic growth, they are giving certain data which you have to keep in mind. Our honorable PM, sir, he talks about making India a developed nation by 2047. Good morning, Fatima. So he talks about making India a developed nation by 2047. According to the author of this article, editorial, he is saying that by 2060s, 60% of India's population is living in urban areas. Now, he is also saying certain stuff, that transportation infrastructure, when it comes to urban areas, it's hovering in 30%. Like I will give you my example. I was in Chandigarh. Chandigarh is awesome. Awesome in so many ways. People are the best, like so cool people, Punjabi people. But I faced transportation issue there. You have to either do Rapido or Uber. Buses were not ensuring last mile connectivity to fair respect to all the things, because again, maybe the people are very rich here, so they don't take buses, etc. So bus is an issue. The connectivity is an issue. The last mile connectivity is an issue. We don't have enough buses. Tram is a solution which they're talking about. And again, we'll talk about it. So this large scale, again, they're talking about the Bol Bachchan. I have told you the basic gist. Existing metro and tier 1 cities are expanding rapidly, and they are putting a strain on our urban transport infrastructure. You will understand what I say, what I mean by this. You are living in certain urban areas. How many buses, etc. apply and give you last mile connectivity? That's what this author is talking about. Now, government initiatives, remember these schemes, because you have to substantiate your answer with example. PM e-bus seva, e-drive scheme, all these things government has brought. But even now, there is so much to do, and they are targeting, you can see here, these e-buses, like electric buses, they are running on electricity. Cool. However, the current fleet, see, how much is the requirement right now? 2 lakh urban buses. How much we have currently? 35,000 buses. So you can see how much gap is there, how much gap we have to fill. So PM e-bus seva, e-drive scheme, we welcome these initiatives, but we still have a long way to go according to the authors of this article. There are 2 authors. And now this is the fact. These are some facts which you have to keep in mind. 50% of population, when it comes to Brazil and China, 50 plus, they are able to access public transport. In India, it is around 37% access to public transport. Sometimes you wait for bus for so long a period that you're like, okay, forget it, let me take a Rapido or Uber because bus is not coming. So again, and metro projects on which, like most of the people, good morning, sir, being most planned city. Yes, Chandigarh is most planned city. We are talking about the bus infrastructure. My personal opinion, it was that I faced issues when it comes to buses, etc. It's not only confined to Chandigarh. Chandigarh is awesome. One of the best cities you will ever live in. And so good, because so good. But yes, you will face, I've told you, it's also rich. Very rich. So maybe people don't use bus that much. But buses are there. I'm not saying buses are not there, but last mile connectivity is the issue. Okay, let's focus here. So metro projects, like everybody wants metro, Lucknow, Patna, everyone wants metro now. The authors are saying that these are expensive, long term. It's not like I wish that I want metro in my area and within a year it will happen. So it takes a time. It takes its own sweet time. Plus, whatever existing metros are there, they are still struggling to recover cost, including Delhi Metro, facing poor last mile connectivity issues. They don't connect you to where you want to go, then you have to change. If you are even coming out of a metro, you have to take your auto or something like that. Cool, sir. Need for alternative solutions. Now, they're talking about what alternative solutions we can look for. Now, trams. Author has focused on this particular thing, trams. That trams are 45% profitable over 70 years. Like can anybody give me example? In any city, have you ever find trams? Anyone? So there are certain terms like bus is fine, metro is fine. Even when they ask you issues related to urban infrastructure, you can talk about this transportation thing. You can give example of trams, you can give example of trolley buses. Most of the people will not know about this. Most of the people will focus on buses, electric buses or metros. So trams you will see in Kolkata, even Kochi, they want to bring these trams. See, these are the trams. Sometimes what used to happen when I was in Kolkata, so I will just, you can just walk here, tram will walk beside you. So if you have your own sweet time, you can take these trams. But like it's very environmental friendly, it's profitable, and that's what author is talking about. But yes, it will take its own sweet time. E-buses, losses, trolley buses. Now, what are trolley buses? They are similar to buses, electric buses, etc. They're exactly electric buses. But what will happen if we example a trolley bus? So there will be a wire which will be connected to these electric poles, and they will be taking electricity from these electric poles. So that's how they run, trolley buses. So author is suggesting two alternatives. If you want to improve urban infrastructure, transportation infrastructure, Kolkata tramways. Very good, Fatima. I don't know what tram is. Now you have seen the image. Hope you know what tram is. So author is talking about trams and trolley buses. We can think about them. Fine. Raise these questions again. You can see the planned tram revival in Kochi. Even Kochi, Kerala, they are thinking about this. Maybe a breakthrough again. They're saying that we can learn from Kolkata's tram network. Okay. Now let's talk about MCQ 2. This whole editorial, this was predominantly mains based editorial based on urbanization. So that's why in MCQ 2 we are doing question related to the first article which we have read. Darjeeling also you have. Yes, exactly, Sneha. It's actually a railway line which you have. It's not exactly a tram. So Priya, Sneha, they have given the answer. What is India's rank in Global Gender Gap Report 2025? The answer is 131. Very good. Out of 148 countries. So do remember it. MCQ 3. Which country has topped the Global Gender Gap Index for the 16th consecutive year? Ashmat, do write the question number, whatever question number you are saying. If you are talking about question number 3's answer as B or 4 answer as B, do write the question number. So Priya is saying C for third, right? Iceland. Iceland has topped Global Gender Gap Index for 16th consecutive year. Cool, sir. Now page 11, opinion page. Bangladesh slipping into authoritarianism. This sir here, he got Nobel Peace Prize, but he is doing stuff, he's doing things, anything like but peace related, with due respect to Muhammad Yunus here. He is the chief advisor to interim government of Bangladesh. Let's try to understand this. Two authors are involved in writing this opinion page on Hindu, page 11, where they're talking about whether Bangladesh is becoming a dictatorial state or not, or converting into that. What, facts they are using to substantiate it, they're saying that this sir here, Muhammad Yunus, Nobel Peace Prize winner, if I'm not wrong, he's a chief advisor to an interim government. Interim government, what is the basic purpose of an interim government? That you will be there for a shorter period of time, and your basic purpose, good morning Shashmita, no issues here, and your basic purpose is what? To ensure that elections are held for a regular government. That is the purpose of an interim government, right? Now, the authors are saying that this guy, he earlier, army was also pressurizing him that let's have an election by this year end, by December 2025, so that we have a regular government. Currently, we have an interim government. So he was like, yes, we will have an election in Bangladesh by this year end, December 2025. Now he has changed his plan. He is like, next year by June, July or something, we will have this particular election. Many people believe that this whole thing, and he's saying that we'll bring a declaration, and again, many people feel like, this is a way of delaying the whole election process. This is a way of extending the interim government, and this is nothing but, authoritarianism. He has even given his backing to a third party. There are two major parties in Bangladesh, which you may have heard about, Awami League, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, we're talking about it. Now there is a third party, which people believe that has been supported by this Muhammad Yunus. People also believe the election which will be happening next year in 2026, he will do, or he will ensure things that this third party comes into picture or forms the government. We'll talk about all these things. Let me tell you the basic and the important points. So Professor Muhammad Yunus' Eid speech, June 7, 2025. He promised election not in June, July, but in April 2026. Earlier there were plans that the elections will happen in by December 2025. Now he has extended it. He announced the launch of a July proclamation, originally planned by student activists. He is saying that, what is this July proclamation? Many scholars, skeptics, they believe that he is just trying to change the history. What happened in 1971 Bangladesh war, he's trying to rewrite the constitution, all those stuff. But that is not the work of interim government. So that's why they are pointing to the fact that Bangladesh is becoming more and more authoritarian. Claim it would contain reform proposals agreed upon by all parties, blah, blah, blah. Critics argue this move aims to prolong the interim government's tenure. And again, you should not be doing all these things as an interim government. That is not the work of an interim government. Many fear Bangladesh is slipping into authoritarianism. Professor Yunus is accused of, we have talked about this. He's an unelected leader. What is his designation, this Muhammad Yunus? He's a chief advisor of an interim government. He's not acting like one. He's not even listening to army chief. He insisted elections should be held by end 2025. Professor Yunus previously promised. We have talked about this, but now we are saying, he is saying that it will happen in April 2026. We are currently in June 2025. Almost 10 months after. So, Sanjay Pulipaka. Who is Sanjay Pulipaka? He is one of the writers of this particular opinion. So, he is saying that real interim governments, what is the basic purpose? As we have discussed, they are for ensuring that elections happen and there is a smooth transition from interim government to regular government. The current regime is making major constitutional reforms, which is unusual, undemocratic. That is not the function of interim government. It is behaving more like a permanent ruling authority. Constitutional reform. July proclamation appears to be designed or replace or override the 1972 constitution. We have talked about this Pakistan war. Third India-Pakistan war was the first India-Pakistan war, which was not fought over Kashmir, which was fought over East Pakistan. We supported East Pakistan. Why? Even though we followed the policy of non-aligned movement, because there was a Bengali versus, Bengali versus Urdu debate which was going on. People felt like Bengali people were underrepresented in this East Pakistan. And we supported Mukti Bahini, and then we supported Mujibur Rahman, all these things. And now this whole interim government is trying to diminish the legacy of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. And that is an issue for us as well. You can see this whole thing. Political climate and party suppression. Awami League is banned. So Awami League, Muhammad Yunus is in 11th abroad travel in 10 months. He's not the only guy who travels so much, Asmita. But again, point taken. So Awami League banned, BNP marginalized. Who is the leader? Sheikh Hasina and Khalida Zia. If I ask you right now, Sheikh Hasina is associated with Awami League or BNP. Khalida Zia is associated with Awami League or BNP. So what will you say? So you can see all these are marginalized. Now third party formation is going on. Vacuum is being filled by radical. Again, you can read this thing. And now BNP held a major rally. BNP lead. Again, this is what we are talking about. This is a party which was formed by advisors, by supporters of Muhammad Yunus. People feel like even if election happens next year in April 2026, Muhammad Yunus will ensure that this National Citizen Party wins. And that's why he's taking his own sweet time to ensure that he had all, puppets at different locations or constitutional machinery, so that he can ensure the success of this National Citizens Party in April 2026 election, if that happens, so to say. Fears that interim regime may manipulate elections, you can see here. So overall concern, authoritarianism, again this is a gist conclusion that interim government is not doing what an interim government is supposed to do. They are everything except their actual work, and we should be very mindful of whatever is going on in Bangladesh, whatever Muhammad Yunus is trying to do. Cool sir, MCQ 4. Which South Asian country performed the best in Global Gender Gap Report 2025? What do you think is the answer? India, Bhutan, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. I have shown you that Global Gender Gap Report is very important. There are so many questions. There can be so many questions which can be asked in so many different exams, including UPSC. So you have to be very mindful of that. Shashmita has given the answer. Priya has given the answer. The answer is Bangladesh. Their rank was around 24 or something, So they have performed much better. India is at 131. So Bangladesh is the best performer as stated by Priya. Priya? Yes, Priya has stated C, right? So Bangladesh is the best performer. This is the first article which we have done. Cool. Now let's talk about page 14. Central scheme must pass effectiveness test to continue. See, there was one particular video which I made earlier, which was related to Manrega, and you can Google it, Manrega, where I talked about whether Manrega will be discontinued by the current government because they're not happy with the performance of Manrega. Manrega is the right to work in rural areas. If you're willing to do for work for 100 days, unskilled manual work. It's not like coding work they will give you. Unskilled manual work for 100 days, you can get work under Manrega, which is a demand-driven program. Now, government is saying that doesn't matter whether it's a Manrega, whether it's a centrally sponsored scheme or central sector scheme. The thing is, it must be effective, cost effective. If we are investing 100 rupees, we should be getting something in return. Let's say we are, giving money for Manrega and we are seeing, and they are saying they are creating ponds, etc. But when we are doing the remote sensing, we are not finding any durable asset. Why we will invest in those kind of schemes? So we will keep on doing this. There is a sunset clause here. Sunset clause means there will be a date set that we are giving you money for, let's say 31st December 2023. After that, there will be an appraisal. Currently, appraisals for many government schemes are done by Niti Aayog. So if it passes the appraisal, then we will approve rather more funds. So this is what government is talking about. If you are efficient, we will give you more money. If you are not efficient, we will discontinue the schemes. It's not like if a scheme has been introduced earlier, it will go on and on and on and on. So continuation of scheme. So here you can read this thing, Union government, they are saying evaluation report, if it is showing, positive outcomes. Now there are some words, sunset date. Even when you will read history, you will read about permanent settlement or zamindari system. There also you will read sunset clause. If zamindars were not able to give Britishers, the taxes at a particular stipulated date, at a particular stipulated time, the land would be auctioned off. Similarly, you can understand a sunset date. Money has been given for a particular scheme for a particular time period. Beyond that, appraisal and evaluation will be happening, and if it is successful, then more money will be given. If it is not, maybe the scheme will be discontinued. Niti Aayog is appraising centrally sponsored scheme. Remember certain words here: centrally sponsored, central sector scheme. So centrally sponsored scheme, here the money is divided between center and states. Center is contributing, let's say 60%, state is contributing 40%, 90%, 10%. So it gets divided, center and state resource devolution based on the position of the state. Then in central sector scheme, which is sometimes also known as central sector schemes, total money, 100% money is given by the center. So do remember these points. Niti Aayog is appraising centrally sponsored scheme. Niti Aayog full form is not National Institute for Transforming India. It is National Institution for Transforming India. Again, an important thing which you have to keep in mind. Okay, sir. Schemes up for review, you can see here, whose approval ends on March 31, 2026. These will likely need reappraisal. So if it gets approval, then it will be continued. Otherwise, many of these schemes will be scrapped. And they cover so many different sectors, as has been stated here. Scheme restructuring flexibility, they are saying that they may propose a new scheme, or they can seek more funds, or they can, even scrap those schemes. Application for demand driven, you can watch that particular video of mine where we have first in Burdwan, permanent settlement. Very good, Priya. Good morning, Mini. So here again, Manrega, we have talked about Manrega. This is right to work in rural areas. Do you think we need a similar kind of scheme in urban areas? If you like right to work in urban areas, many people, they believe that Manrega is also right to work in urban areas. No, it is just right to work in rural areas. Then there were other questions that, yes, because there is so much unemployment and all these things, we need right to work in urban areas as well. So what is your view on that? If you feel something on it, do post it in the comment section. Cool, sir. So again, they are saying even for demand-driven schemes like Manrega, and government has been accused of that they are not giving enough funding Manrega enough. And government is like, we are not getting enough durable assets. So why should we fund Manrega? So all these to and fro is going on. Okay, sir. Now let's talk about MCQ 5 of the day. The July Proclamation announced in Bangladesh is significant because what it strives to do. It seeks to revive the 1972 Constitution of Bangladesh. It is a charter aiming to establish an Islamic state. It attempts to reshape the constitutional framework and political direction of Bangladesh. It proposes economic reforms under the IMF agreement. So, what do you think is the answer? Priya and Shashmita, they have given the answer A and C. The aim of July Proclamation is to undo the things which has happened earlier, to reshape the constitutional framework and political direction of Bangladesh. That is the basic aim of this July Proclamation. C is the answer. MCQ 6. Which of the following institution is responsible for the appraisal of centrally sponsored scheme as per the recent circular? We have talked about this, and we were talking about this whole scenario. So which institution? Ministry of Finance, Niti Aayog, CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General, Department of Personnel and Training, DOPT. No issues, Priya. It's fine. You can make and we can make mistakes here. But the thing is, if you make mistake, you will remember it much more. That yes, this mistake I made. So you will not do it in the actual exam. Sneha is saying, yes, we need scheme like Manrega in rural areas, like urban areas. We need right to work in urban areas because many people are unemployed and unskilled as well. Cool. So, Sashmita, Priya and Sneha, they have given the answer. Mini has also given the answer. The answer of this question, appraisal of centrally sponsored scheme, Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog is neither a constitutional body nor a statutory body. It's just an executive body. Very good, Sneha. Khub bhalo. Now, the biggest issue of yesterday, as somebody was saying, this issue, so many people just lost their life. One of the biggest air crash in the world in recent years. And now this article is talking about the causes. I was reading certain stuff yesterday. Many people also believe that Turkey is responsible some way or the other. I will talk about the Turkey thing today. Today I will make a video at 7 p.m. and where I will talk about how much Turkey is involved here. Why people are talking about Turkey. What is the link of Turkey with this whole crash? First of all, we'll talk about what this author is talking about, the causes of air crash. And then like 7 p.m. we'll talk about the role of Turkey. You may have heard about the role of Turkey. Many of you may not have. We'll talk about it later on. So now the author is saying there can be multiple causes of air crash. First thing first, even if let's say there are two engines in this airplane, Boeing airplane. So if one engine fails, even then the second engine has the capability to cover a lot of time. So even if one engine fail, the airplane will not crash. So one case which they are talking about is both the engines failed, which is a very, very unlikely scenario. Then they are saying about overloading, the weight of the cargo, the weight of the fuel, the weight of everything, and along with the external temperature. So let's say there is a weight of cargo. We are bringing our things with us. Then the weight of the fuel, which is actually a lot of weight. So if there is overloading in that scenario, what happens? They require more speed to take off. And external temperature, because this was a hot time, like 37 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Celsius in Ahmedabad. So hot air, hot temperature makes air thin, and then you require more speed to go up, to thrust up. So author is saying that this can be one of the biggest issue. Like overloading will be one of the most prominent cause of air crash. There can be a scenario of overloading. It is much more probable than both engines failing. And then bird heat. They are saying that this is monsoon season. In this particular season, around the grass and all those things will be insects. So there can be a possibility that birds entered inside the two engines, and that may have led to the crash. So they are talking about multiple scenarios. So the same Boeing 787 has crashed. No, this is not the same Boeing. This is a different variant of Boeing. So this has never crashed before. Sashmita is talking about the crack means crashing. Let me see, saying correct stuff, but little bit variation is there. Boeing has been very infamous. This Boeing airplane which has crashed, this has been very infamous, but their different variants have crashed earlier. This is a new variant. This has never crashed earlier, but there were issues related to it, because of which it was delayed and operational things happened. But this particular variant of Boeing, it has never crashed before. This is actually not too old either. It was, commissioned in 2013 or something. So people are speculating about it. These are the major reasons why the crash would have happened. And involvement of Turkey also is a big thing. We have to talk about it. So cause of A1-171. Now Boeing are of different types. This is Boeing A1-171. Then there are different variants, which Shasmita is saying, like 787. This is a different variant which has crashed. So let's see what happens. Their stocks fell yesterday, Boeing again. So expert theories, aircraft overloading, we talked about it, bird hit and simultaneous failure of both engines. Do remember, one engine failure never causes a crash, especially in the case of Boeing, because even if I will show you one particular data. So see here, even if there is a single engine, even then they can fly up to 330 minutes, which is 5 hours 30 minutes. So if both engines fail, only then the crash will happen. And this happened very instantaneously, this whole crash. Okay, sir. So let's have a look at it. So aircraft, you can see here, maximum takeoff capacity, takeoff weight, it can carry up to 1,26,000. You can see the numbers. Engine failure probability, they are saying the chances of both engines failing at takeoff is very, very low, 1 in a billion. That's why we are saying this is the lowest probability. This thing, very, very low chance that this has actually happened. Now, what are the other scenarios? Overloading and the whole thing, bird hit. These two are the major causes. Even when the black box, they do the analysis, either of these two causes will be the reason. Sir, I am deeply concerned this accident, it's a huge tragedy. I can understand, Rishiyar. We were so shocked. Just like that, more than 250 people died. And think about the medical hospital where the airplane crashed. The people who, even if they have not died, who may have gone through this. You know, you are sitting, studying, and suddenly an airplane crashes. How much mental trauma they will go throughout their life. So overloading could result from incorrect weight estimates, and please, that's why, please understand, sometimes what happens, you will take excessive weight with you, and even the hostess will allow, okay, don't do that. You can see here. But again, you may feel like that is just a small amount of weight. I agree, but let's do our work properly. Combined with external temperature, we have talked about this. At that time, yesterday, it was around 37 degrees Celsius. This affects the lift of the airport, or lift the aircraft can generate. So hot temperatures, what it do? It thin the air. And then aircraft needs more thrust to generate maximum speed so that they can take off. If they're not getting that particular speed, they will crash. Flight dynamics, you can see here, failure to achieve necessary speeds may cause the aircraft to stall and crash. What do you think? What do you people think? What is the reason? Do you think both engine failure is the reason? If you have, people also may have read a lot of stuff from yesterday. So what do you think? Both engine failure, bird hit, or this overloading? Out of these three? Or Turkey thing, you may not know about it right now. We'll talk about it. So Sashmita, Rishi, Sneha, Fatima, Mini, and other people, what is your view on this tragedy? Why it happened? The biggest tragedy which we people have ever heard of. Bird hit possibility. Captain Mohan Ranganathan, again, these are experts. They are saying that bird ingestion into both engines. Why this can happen? Because this is a monsoon season. There is a grass growth which will attract insects and birds, and there is a possibility that there will be very birds on that particular runway or around that runway, which may have went into the engines, which may have affected the functioning of the engines in some way or the other, and which may have caused this particular crash. Overloading could be the reason, according to Fatima. Boeing Dreamliner safety concern. This is the first. See, this is what we were talking. This is what I was telling Shashmita also. This is the first crash of a Dreamliner. This is one variant of Boeing. The model has previously faced safety issues, battery heating, fuseless design. Again, you don't need to go into the intricacies. And because of that, they were not, given green lit for, flight and operation and everything, delivery halts and design modification. Boeing is anyway infamous, very infamous. Okay. Now let's talk about unable to gain height because something was wrong with flaps. Cool. Okay, so now this whole thing. Page number 1, retail inflation eases to 6-year low. Retail inflation, CPI, they are used synonymously. There are some minor differences. So retail inflation is what? Inflation, measure in the prices of foods, fuel. All these are very volatile commodities, food, fuel. So retail inflation takes into consideration that. Core inflation, which is very similar to WPI also, not exactly same, but core inflation, they discard the, the prices of food and fuel, which are volatile commodities. Retail inflation, wholesale inflation, you can also understand this way, that let's say you're going and you're buying Coca-Cola, so you're just buying for your own consumption purposes. Wholesale inflation means consumption. What happens? You are buying a pack of Coca-Cola because you want to resell it. So wholesale price is a different thing, retail price is a different thing. CPI, retail inflation, they are concerned with the retail price, and WPI or the wholesale inflation is more or less concerned with the wholesale. Like wholesale inflation is somewhat lesser. And this you can also understand from this scenario, that when you buy Coca-Cola in bulk, you get it at a cheaper price. Now, good thing which has happened here is, and there are certain terms which are important from exam perspective, which you have to remember. UPSC has already asked a lot of questions on inflation, deflation, disinflation, hyperinflation, stagflation, reflation, skewflation. So do remember these words. Inflation, rise in prices of goods and services. So deflation, decrease in prices of goods and services. Disinflation, rise in prices of goods and services, but at a lower rate. Then skewflation, prices of some products are rising, some products are decreasing. Then hyperinflation, very high inflation. Then stagflation, it is an exception. Stagflation is an exceptional scenario. What is this whole thing? What do I mean by stagflation is an exceptional scenario? In economy, you will read about something known as Phillips curve. Phillips curve. Phillips curve establishes a inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment. When inflation increases, unemployment decreases. That's why Monetary Policy Committee, they talk about 4 plus minus 2%. That our, inflation should be between 2 to 6%. So Phillips curve establishes a relationship between inflation and unemployment. Inflation increases, unemployment decreases. How? Because when the prices of goods and services will increase, these companies, they will have more incentive to produce those goods and services, so they will employ more people, and that's how unemployment decreases. So remember these terms. I don't think both engines would fail at the same time. Even if one engine fails, the other can usually keep the plane flying safely, isn't it, sir? Yes, that's what we discussed, Mini, that the Boeing had around, even if one engine fails, Boeing can run for 5 or 30 minutes without any issues. So yes, they can fly. So both engines had to fly, had to fail, or overloading, or bird hit. These can be the scenarios. Now the good thing here is, see, this article is talking about retail inflation, and they are saying some very, very good things, that India's retail inflation fell to 2.8%. And you will see why it is, decreasing, because of food prices. And you will see there are certain vegetables whose prices have actually declined. But it's a bittersweet thing, because the prices of vegetables have declined, but at the same time, the prices of oils have increased. So I will not make my food or vegetables in some, I need oil. So, people's conundrum, that what should I do with this vegetable? The only option is eat salad. I will tell you what I mean by this is. So CPI index, you can, again, these are just data. Just remember the basic meaning which we have discussed. What is inflation, deflation, disinflation, hyperinflation, skewflation, reflation, and all these words. Food and beverage inflation, I will give you some data. See this. Key components driving decline. Why? Prices have reduced. Deflation is decrease in prices of goods and services. If both engines fail, we say, then the aircraft, yes, no, then they will not be able to take off. They will crash. But as you have seen, the probability of both engines failing is 1 in a billion. That is a very, very least probability. So why the prices have declined? Vegetables, see, decrease. Pulses, spices, meat. So people who are vegetarian, even people who are non-vegetarian, they'll be like, ho jayegi, balle balle hogi teri balle balle. That means they'll be jumping with joy. But then comes the other picture. Edible oils, fruits, you cannot eat fruit salad, you cannot use oil. So where will you make your vegetable and meat when the prices of oils, etc. are increasing? So that's what has happened. The prices of oil has increased, but all in all, the retail inflation has declined. And why there is a rise in edible oil prices? Because we don't grow oilseed enough. There is a tendency of ours to focus on rice, wheat, sugarcane, because on some we get minimum support price. On sugarcane, we get FRP, fair and remunerative price, because of which people are incentivized to grow these crops more and not focus on oil seed enough. Rising global prices, high import dependence. We generally, depend on other countries for these oil seeds and oil. So you have vegetable, you have fruits, but you don't have enough oil. So as Sneha is saying, zero oil veggies, make it and be happy. PYQ 7. With reference to inflation in India, which of the following statements is correct? You may feel like, sir, this is a PYQ actually asked in 2015. Why are this particular PYQ? I want to give you some conceptual clarity rather. Chepandi, take a guess right now and then we'll have a discussion on it. Okay, let me tell you certain stuff. Controlling the inflation in India is responsibility of the government of India only. Only this and that, let's say you are confused. Keep it in the loop. Reserve Bank of India has no role in controlling the inflation. You know it's wrong. They play a role. So eliminate it. Now C and D, decrease money circulation, increase money circulation. When you have such opposite options, remember this particular fact, when you have these kind of options where these options are opposite to each other, there's a very high probability that either of these two options will be correct. Obviously, right? Either this is correct or that is correct. You can understand this thing. Even if you don't know A and B, you get these kind of vice versa options, focus on them more. Now let's try to understand. Inflation is a rise in prices of goods and services. Cool. So prices of goods and services have increased. Let's say RBI, they decrease money circulation, or government, they decrease money circulation. They can do it in so many different ways. How they can do it? Let's say, companies, they reduce jobs, etc. People become unemployed or something. Or government decrease money circulation means what? Let's say RBI is lending money to commercial banks at a cheaper rate. Commercial bank is lending money to you. So you, like companies, they have more money with them. So they are employing more and more people. Let's say what RBI does, they reduce the money circulation. They don't give money to by increasing the rates. There are different rates, repo rate, reverse repo rate. That's a different class altogether. So in that scenario, what will happen? If you have lesser money with yourself, let's say the whole money circulation decreases in the economy. If you have lesser money with yourself, you have less incentive to buy things. Just take a simple example. You don't have enough money now. In that scenario, what will happen? You will not buy goods and services because you're not willing to. Let's say I'm unemployed. I don't have enough money. Earlier I used to drink Coke of 90 rupees. Today I will not drink Coke of 90 rupees. I don't have enough money. Now what will happen? If more and more people are in that scenario, then Coke will have a pressure that my goods are not being purchased by people, so I will decrease the prices so that many people can buy it. It comes within their buying ambit. So decrease money circulation helps in controlling the inflation. Then the prices of goods and services will decrease. Thank you, Praveen. So what I was telling you was that, hope you understood this whole scenario. Who answered it? Shashmita, Rishi, Priya, Sneha, did you people understand? If you have lesser money with yourself, what will happen in that scenario? You will not buy goods and services as you used to buy earlier. Since goods and services demand have decreased, then the owners, they will decrease the prices so that people can buy their goods and services. Otherwise, there will be enormous wastage. And since the prices of goods and services have now reduced, so you have gone from inflation territory to deflation territory. And that's how decreased money circulation helps in controlling the inflation. Did you people understand it, or should I say more? There was a movie in our time, Jab We Met, where Kareena Kapoor used to say, "Aap samajh gaye main aur bolu." That means, did you understand it, or should I say more? Cool. So this is PYQ 7, this is PYQ 8. These are basic general concepts. We have talked about inflation, retail inflation. I'm just giving you an idea which kind of questions are asked by UPSC, and you have to be ready for this. That is the basic purpose for which we are studying. Cool, Priya, cool, Sneha. Let's have a look at PYQ 8. No issues, Shashmita. Chepandi, cheputal sulai dukhadu. So again, a PYQ asked in 2013, a rise in general level of prices may be caused by increase in money supply, decrease in aggregate level of output, and increase in the effective demand. Okay, let's try to solve it. Rise in general level of prices. This is the basic definition of inflation. UPSC has asked a lot of questions on inflation, deflation, disinflation, hyperinflation, stagflation, reflation, skewflation, thisflation, and thatflation. I will tell you. So, rise in general level of prices. They are saying that why inflation happens, why prices of goods and services increase, and increase in money supply. Let's say Priya, Sneha, Sashmita, Rishi, Praveen, and other people, you have more money in your hand. So you are willing to purchase more. let's say there are limited quantities available in the market. Not everybody can purchase it. Then the people will be like, I am willing to pay more. Just give me that Coca-Cola. Just give me that Mountain Dew, because dar ke aage jeet hai. So increase in money supply. When you have more and more money with you, you are willing to pay more, and that leads to increase in prices of goods and services. So first statement is correct. If first is correct, eliminate A, B and D. Decrease in aggregate level of output. Let's say the Coke manufacturing decreases, and the people, they are mad about Coca-Cola, that we want Coca-Cola, we want Coca-Cola, dil mange more Coca-Cola, like my heart wants more. Now the output has decreased. People are even right now, they want Coca-Cola, but let's say there are 100 people, there are 80 Coke, and they all want it. Then what will happen? The price of Coca-Cola will increase, and whosoever will be paying that higher price, they will get it. So even the decrease in output, the decrease in supply, that also leads to rise in general level of prices. So second is also correct. If second is correct, now you're left with B and D. Increase in effective demand. If more and more people are demanding, we want Coca-Cola, we want Coca-Cola, then Coca-Cola will be like, okay, this is the supply right now. Pay more and get your Coca-Cola. Whosoever is paying more, get your Coca-Cola. So even the increase in effective demand will lead to rise in general level of prices. So the answer is D. Sir, where can I get these notes? You can get these notes where? I will show you, Fatima. So this is my Telegram channel, Fun Study with Shubh, because study should be fun, Fatima. So you can join this Telegram family of mine, become a part of my family. I will share this particular PDF. I think I will share this within 1 or 2 hours of this session is done. Like sometimes I may get involved in some other work, but by evening 5 p.m. you will get the PDF. Chepandis, let's go up. Where were we? So the answer to this particular question is D. All the options are correct. Cool. D. Please revise these questions. They will help you a lot later on. This is the reason. Today, like I'm going live at 11:30 right now. So we are talking about Israel attacked Iran. See page number 18, what has happened here. IAEA board censors Iran for not complying with nuclear obligations. We have already talked about a lot of issues today. So we are not going into the, deeper intricacies of what is happening here. I will just give you a brief overview. IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, their work is, you have nuclear energy. You can use nuclear energy for two purposes, civilian and military purpose. So they try to ensure whichever country has nuclear energy raw materials, they're using it for civilian purpose. Now they are saying that Iran is not complying means Iran is not using nuclear energy for civil purposes. They are using nuclear energy for military purposes, and maybe they are making some nuclear bomb, etc. And this violation has happened for the first time in 20 years. Now the countries, arch enemies of Iran, like, very good yaar. What is the meaning of Chepandis? So Chepandis is a Telugu word. Cheppu, Chepandi. Cheppu means bolo, like tell me in an informal way. Chepandi means boliye. That means say in a formal way. Cheppu, Chepandi. Telsu ledu kadu. I don't know the meaning. I have just heard it in Hyderabad. So let's focus here. So IAEA, they look into the use of nuclear energy. Now they are saying that Iran is using nuclear energy for making atomic bomb, nuclear bomb, whatever, but they are not using it, like, entirely for civilian purpose. Now this has, now US is angry, Israel is very angry, because Israel and Iran, how close they are. That's an irony, that's a sarcasm. So that's what has happened, and you will see now the IAEA board, they are saying that we'll impose sanction, etc. Iran has retaliated. They are like, we will make more nuclear stations and all these things. So in a way, this has escalated to a greater extent in a very little time span. So all these things are going on. Exactly, Sneha wondering. Hope you understood, Minnie. Chepandi Cheppu Telsu Ledu. Okay, let's focus. So UN Nuclear Watch decision, IAEA, they are saying that they found Iran non-compliant with its nuclear obligation. First such finding in 20 years. Anything first is very important. Your first love, this and that. So in 20 years, this is first such scenario where IAEA is saying that Iran is violating, it's not using nuclear energy for entirely civilian purpose. Now, decision could increase tension and may trigger efforts to reinstate UN sanctions on Iran later this year. What later trigger? It has already triggered. Israel has declared war on Iran. So now, because if Iran makes nuclear bomb, or if they have already made one, God knows what will happen now. So Iran announced it will build now see, what is the reaction of Iran to all these things which has happened? So Iran is saying that we will build a new uranium enrichment facility at a secure location. We don't care what IAEA says. we are concerned with our own safety and security, so we will do whatever we want to do. It warned that other retaliatory measures are also planned. So it's not like they are calming down fire with water. They are playing fire with fire. In a joint statement, you can read all these things. They called the resolution political and said Iran has no choice but to respond, and Iran has responded. US and Israel. Former US President Donald Trump had warned that airstrike by US or Israel were possible, and that's what happened if nuclear negotiation failed. In response to rising tension, some US personnel and families have begun leaving the region, and there has been an advisory which has been issued. Don't go to Iran, don't go to anywhere near Iran. So upcoming talks, a new round of Iran-US talk is scheduled for Sunday in Oman. But before that talk happens, Israel has done its stuff. So maybe just a theory of mine. What is your theory, Shashmita? Economics is a bit confusing, don't worry. It will become very easy. We'll talk about all these things. So let's keep all the talks, all the discussion till here only. Any queries, any doubts? Shashmita, Mini, anyone? I will share this particular PDF in my Telegram channel. For people who have not joined, you can join it. Fun Study with Show. Also, I will tell it again. There are many people who have joined me earlier. Post your score in the comment section also, how many you got correct out of the 8. And if you are a serious UPSC 2026 aspirant, you can join our Pratigya batch. Admissions are closing on 15th June. You can use my code SHS Live to get maximum discount. I have shown to some people, some students of mine, how to use this code. If you are new to it, I will show you again. If you don't know how to, enroll, you can go here, not here, here, StudyIQ. Where is the link? If you go to this website, StudyIQ.com, if you just scroll down, you go to UPSC, all languages English. Come here, this is the course we are talking about. Go to buy now. Here, you can also avail with EMI. Oh my God, this is so cool. So here, if you come and you have this best value, you see the price 35,999, 30,999, 20,999. You add promo code. Here you use coupon code. Let's say you use my code SHS Live. SHS Live. Don't use any other code. How can I start history for UPSC? I will just come to that query. Let me complete this, Neha. So you will go to SHS Live. Again, see the price. Diamond 35,999, Platinum 30,999, Gold 20,999. Let me apply this. Now, Gold has become 20,999, Platinum has remained the same, but Diamond has also reduced to 28,999. The change is, oh my God, 7,000 rupees, such a big amount. So you can use this code and again, use SHS Live only. Let's come back to what we were discussing. So yes, what were your doubts? Let me come back again. They're increasing our syllabus. How can I start history for UPSC? You can start history for UPSC by joining our Pratigya batch, Sneha. Again, if you want to join, you can join it. And yes, don't worry too much about it, Sneha. I think you have just completed 12th, right? If I'm not wrong, or you are in graduation. So just have a look at the syllabus, have a look at the PYQs, and go in a sequential manner. Complete ancient India first, then medieval, then modern. Don't worry too much about art and culture for now. Because art and culture, more maximum portion, if you talk about Buddhism, Jainism, temple architecture, etc., they are more or less included in the syllabus. So you don't need to worry too much about it. And yes, slowly and gradually, there will be certain portion of art and culture like music, dance, etc., which will be covered separately. So go in a sequential manner. Don't worry too much about it. And have a look at the, your syllabus, so to say, your PYQ, so to say. Man, everything will take care of itself. Just keep your basics strong and we'll have a discussion on all these things. You can watch, there is a marathon video which I made on history. NCERT 6 to 12, 9 to 12. Before you do that, Sneha, go to, there is a marathon, history marathon. I have done PYQs of last 10 years or something. You can watch that series and, the history marathon. That will give you an idea which kind of questions UPSC focuses upon, and you can accordingly make a plan for history. Sneha, NCERT 6 to 12th or 9 to 12th. Not all the NCERTs are important from 6 to 12th or 9 to 12th. There are specific chapters which are important. So let's say in history, if we talk about class 12, chapter 10, that is related to 1857 revolt in the rationalized NCERTs. So that is important. Class 12, chapter 7, which is related to Vijayanagar Empire, that is important. So there are certain chapters which are important in NCERT. Not all chapters are, important equally. So you have to read you don't have to read all the chapters. That's where Again, if you join the batch, again, I'm not saying you have to join the batch. I'm just saying if you join any such batch, they will tell you that not all chapters are important. Focus on specific portions. So not all chapters of all NCERTs are important. Sneha, I've told you 2 specific chapters. You can focus on them right now. Then there are Bhakti movement, Sufi movement. So there, I think, even in class 12 chapter 6, class 7 chapter 6, those 2 chapters are also very important. They cover Bhakti and Sufi movement. So if you have to read Bhakti and Sufi movement from NCERT, you can focus on class 7 chapter 6, class 12 chapter 6, if my memory serves me correct right now. So Tamil Nadu board NCERT is good for history, very good for history. But just remember, minimize your source, maximize your revision. Don't read multiple sources. Read one particular source. Let's say even if you join our batch or you're reading from any source, trust that source and then solve as many mocks as possible. Make proper notes and then mocks and mocks. Minimum sources, maximum revision. Cool. And don't worry too much about CSAT, Sashmita. What you can do right now is 2:30 to 4:30 on Sundays, solve last year's CSAT paper. And if you feel like you need some guidance, you can take our guidance or whatever guidance you feel like. But don't, if you feel like you have some issues in CSAT, take help for it. And time is very important. Tamil Nadu board NCERT, how is it different? To be very frank, I have seen the normal NCERTs. It has been a long time since I've seen Tamil Nadu board NCERT, but they are good, like the good quality NCERT. The content is very precise. Whatever I had seen, some part of it I have seen, it's very precise. They have not jumped around the bushes like these days NCERTs. Mughals are eliminated, Delhi Sultanate, etc., etc. That is not the case with Tamil Nadu NCERT or old NCERT. So that's why they are good, because you read it in a chronological manner. But even the new NCERTs, old NCERTs, like they don't matter. The only thing which matter is if you feel like you're weak in Vijayanagar, take out NCERTs, read those specific chapters. You don't need to read whole NCERTs. That is just a pure wastage of time. NCERTs are not written for you to clear UPSC. They're just there to give you basic conceptual clarity. It's not like every concept of every theory of history is, you don't know anything. There will be certain weak areas. So focus on those NCERT chapters, not all. Any other queries, sir and ma'am? Should I be go Goa gone then? Go Goa gone. Cool. So I will see you people tomorrow at 10 a.m. and do keep on revising these lectures. Watch it, make notes of it, make 4 different files: GS Mains Paper 1, Paper 2, Paper 3, Paper 4. Let's say we had a discussion on economy today: inflation, deflation, hyperinflation, stagflation, reflation, skewflation, etc., etc. Put those notes in economy section, make notes in A4 sheets, because A4 sheets will help you in arranging your notes in a chronological manner. So do all these things, be very clear about the basics, and the rest, everything will take care of itself. ঠিক আছে? So I will see you people tomorrow then.